What if I told you that your church staff culture is either helping your ministry thrive or slowly pulling it apart? Too many churches struggle with toxic work environments, with burnout, with staff turnover. But what if there was a way to make it better? And today I'm going to share what I think are 8 powerful strategies to create a healthy, thriving church staff culture where people are going to feel valued and engaged and hopefully excited to serve. So stick around, because this might be, the last one might be a really big surprise for you. Okay? Thanks so much for joining us on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. My name is Todd Rhodes, one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com. And today we're talking about 8 strategies to help build a great church staff culture. I'm going to have to zoom right through these, but if you'd like to have a further conversation on these with me or somebody on my team at Chemistry Staffing, you can reach out to me at podcast@chemistrystaffing. Okay, so 8 things, 8 strategies to build a great church staff culture. The first is just to foster a culture of hope. Hope isn't just a feeling, it's a leadership strategy. It should be a leadership strategy. In times of uncertainty, your team needs a leader who can cast vision, sure, who can encourage resilience, absolutely, but they need a leader that can remind them of the bigger picture and to share hope. Sometimes churches face budget challenges or attendance shifts or ministry burnout, but hope-filled leadership reminds staff that what they do matters, not just for today, not just in the time where things are a little bit uncertain, but they matter for eternity. Okay? So here's the tip. Regularly highlight stories of transformation to show how your church is making a real impact in your church and in your community. We talk about this all the time here on the podcast. You need to celebrate the wins, even the small wins. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, align every role on your staff with purpose. Okay, staff members who feel their job is just a to-do list, they're not going to stick around very long. People thrive when their work connects with the greater mission of your church. In fact, employees who see how their role aligns with their values are 3 times more likely to stay, according to a recent study, even in high-pressure environments. What do you do with that? Here's an action step. Help your team connect their daily work with the broader church mission. If you have somebody on your team that doesn't know how they fit or doesn't see how their role connects to the broader mission of the church, you've got a problem there. So you ask, how does your role make an external, eternal difference and an eternal impact? Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, we've got 8, so I got to keep going. Build genuine community. And some of these aren't rocket surgery, right? Church work can feel isolating. It can be lonely, even when you're on a team. And what's the problem? We've stopped making time for real friendships. Research shows us that employees with strong work friendships, that means the people on your staff actually like and are friends with other people on your staff. Those people are 50% more productive and 3 times more likely to stay. But here's the kicker. Simply having staff meetings doesn't build that community. You need to be intentional. You need to have intentional spaces where your team can connect outside of work tasks. So maybe just create relational rhythms, brunches, lunches, retreats, casual team gatherings that will allow for this connection and this, friendship to happen organically. You want those organic connections to happen. Okay. Number 4, I want to talk about compassion for a second. Church leadership isn't just about casting vision. It's truly about listening. So here's the warning. If your staff feels unheard, we just did a podcast on listening. I think it was yesterday or the day before. If your staff feels unheard, their engagement will suffer. As a matter of fact, if you have a staff that you're just like, man, nobody seems like they're engaged, it's probably because you're just not leading with that compassion. That compassionate leadership creates kind of this psychological safe place where people feel secure enough to share their concerns without fear. So here's something simple that you can do in this area. Maybe start every staff meeting with just a simple question. What's one thing, if you're the senior pastor, what's one thing I can do to support you this week? and then follow up on it. We also did a podcast on following up. You need to listen to that one too. Act on it. What's one thing I can do to help support you in your leadership this week? All right, number 5, provide freedom and flexibility. Church work shouldn't feel like you're in a cage. Today's workforce actually expects flexibility. That's one of the things, long tail effects coming out of COVID that happened 5 years ago. Today's staff members want more flexibility, and not just in schedule, but how they get things done. A recent study, 87% of employees want flexible work options, yet many church leaders still operate on a rigid office schedule. The key is outcome-driven leadership focusing on results, not just hours worked. So here's a practical challenge in this area. And you might say, Todd, I'm going to push back there. Hold it. I hire somebody and they need to be here in the office 40 hours. I get that, but you're going to have people leave if you don't allow them some kind of flexibility. It doesn't mean 100% remote work. It just means you need to be open. Here's a practical challenge or change. Give staff autonomy in when and how they complete their tasks. Maybe some tasks absolutely have to be done in the office. Maybe some tasks can be done at the coffee shop or at home. The focus should be on mission effectiveness, not micromanagement, not I need to see you here because if you're not here, I don't know if you're working. That's a whole different culture thing that we'll talk about in a different podcast. Believe me, we'll get there. Number 6, we got 3 more here. Number 6, embrace multi-generational openness. Generational friction in church teams is real. Often older leaders feel overlooked and younger leaders feel dismissed. It's just how it happens in a lot of churches. But cross-cultural generational collaboration is one of the biggest unlocks for creativity and growth. So how do you do this? How do you foster that intergenerational compatibility? Encourage mentorship between younger and older staff. Put them on the same teams. Have them work on different things together. Let wisdom and fresh ideas meet in a way that benefits everybody. Okay, number 7, create a culture of belonging. Your church staff isn't just a workforce. They're a family. At least they should be. Does everybody feel like they belong? Diversity, accessibility aren't just corporate buzzwords. They're really kingdom principles. So make sure that every staff member feels seen and valued. A staff member, another study, who belongs is 167% more likely to recommend your church as a great workplace. Interesting. And then finally, recognize and celebrate wins. We talked about this earlier. Churches expect a lot from their staff, but we do need to pause and celebrate. That goes with, I think it was number 1, the gratitude area and showing compassion. Research shows that employees are 18 times more likely to produce great work if they're recognized for their contributions. End staff meetings. Here's a simple thing you can do. End staff meetings with praise reports. Call out wins. Call out celebrations, things you need to celebrate. They might be big, they might be small, but a little recognition, a little pat on the back, a little attaboy every once in a while goes a long way in fueling that morale and keeping your staff happy. So, bottom line for today, a thriving staff culture doesn't happen by accident. It takes hope-filled leadership, it takes purpose-driven roles and strong community, it takes compassionate leadership. I'd love to know, which of these strategies do you think your church needs the most right now? It could be that you're on fire on 5 of the 8, but you really need to work on 3. I'd love to hear what ones you think you do really well and what ones you think, man, Todd, this is really helpful. This is something I need to really work on in our staff. Drop me a line. You can reach me anytime, podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. If you're watching on YouTube, you can always leave a comment in the comment sections. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. That helps us so that we can reach more church leaders as well. And again, you're listening to the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Todd Rhodes. I'll be back again tomorrow right here with another edition of the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Have a great day.